All right, I'm Senior Master Sergeant Jackson, and we're going to be talking about how to conduct an awards and promotion ceremony. This class will be approximately 15 minutes. I've consulted CAP pamphlet 60-33, which is our drill and ceremony pamphlet, and CAP pamphlet 3, which is our protocol pamphlet. So let's talk about preparation for the ceremony itself. Obviously, we're going to have to identify the promotees' families so that they can be invited to the event. Talk to the cadets that are receiving awards or that are getting promoted about who they'd like to have invited to the event. And you want to notify them. That means make sure you send out an email at least a week in advance. My recommendation is find somebody creative, and you could possibly have some invitations created for the event. What's nice about this is once they're done the first time, you just change the dates and names in the future. You have to establish a ceremony area. Yeah, it's not a bad idea to have it outdoors, but if you do that, you're going to have an indoor backup plan. So there's going to have to be a plan A and a plan B. My understanding or recommendation is just stick with an indoor plan. That way you don't have to prepare for two different types of events. Okay, the national colors. If you have a color guard, make sure they're trained and ready to present the colors at the beginning of the ceremony. If you do not have a color guard, basically make sure that you have the organizational flag, which is the CAP flag, and the national flag, which is the United States flag, posted prior to the event beginning. Uniform, okay? For these type of events, you should go formal, and I would recommend the U.S. Air Force style Class B uniform or the corporate aviator uniform. Why? Well, most people should have that uniform to begin with. It does present the right image. Now, you could require people to wear their Class A or their ceremonial uniforms, but not everybody has those, so keep it simple. If an individual does not have a Class B uniforms or the equivalent of the corporate uniform, I recommend that you have them wear conservative clothing or basically casual attire, all right? And this, of course, would stand for any of the cadets who do not have uniforms as well. Order promotions, okay? By U.S. Air Force standards, the more senior grade gets promoted first, and it goes in descending order from that. So basically, as you can see in this scenario, if you had a lieutenant colonel being promoted and a second lieutenant, the lieutenant colonel would be promoted first. Same stands for awards as well. All right, let's talk about the ceremonial layout. Commander is obviously generally in this position when the ceremony starts. We have a formation here with our sub-layer patrol members, and we have the audience. I recommend the audience be seated. Now, the positioning of the American flag and the Civil Air Patrol flag, it basically will be to the commander's right, the American flag, and the Civil Air Patrol flag will be to the commander's left. That means it will be to the left, the American flag will be to the left of the audience, and the Civil Air Patrol flag will be to the right of the audience. MC will be positioned behind the commander. And of course, there should be an awards table provided. There will be a commander's assistant. This is a critical job. We'll talk about it a little bit later. And designate a photographer instead of just doing a hey you during the ceremony. Now, this is another layout. As you notice with the previous layout, basically both the audience and the CAP member formation are not obstructed from each other. In this scenario, we have the audience in front of the CAP member formation. In this case, the audience will be seated in chairs, and if there's enough chairs, you probably should put the CAP members in chairs. Okay, let's go over the ceremonial checklist. Certificates. Make sure you have certificates for each of the awards and promotions that are going to be actually provided. Now, I put this picture out here for a specific reason. That is a Mitchell Award, which is what we call a milestone award. Milestone awards need to be in frames. The previous picture, that award was not in a frame. So what are milestone awards? Well, they're pretty much the 4 top awards that CAP members can receive, as well as those promotions. and the Wright Brothers Award. Okay, so those 5 types of awards need to be in frames. Make sure that you have the ranks and awards available to present. A table, okay? See this table here? It should be something that is presentable. Obviously, a used, scarred up table that couldn't even be sold at a thrift store, well, throw a tablecloth on it at least. Dollar store, it's about $2. National anthem, okay? You need to have a national anthem at your ceremony. Now, I'm not saying somebody needs to sing it, but there should be a recording, and somebody obviously should be designated to execute that when the American flag is presented. The flag standards. There needs to be both an American flag and an organizational flag, which is the CAP flag there. If you do not have both, at the very least, you have to have an American flag. Now, see the bases right there and the top of the flag, which is called a spade? The Air Force or Civil Air Patrol uses silver devices, not gold. And the top of both the American flag and CAP flag will have a silver spade at the top, not a ball or an eagle. Okay, these are the 4 critical positions for our ceremony. Of course, the commander. And I should note that all these 4 people should be in the same uniform. If the commander can't make it, then make sure the commander has a representative there. The MC needs to be somebody who presents professional appearance, that's concise and gets to the point. Also, the MC needs to have a commanding voice and be able to be somebody who dispatches their duties efficiently. The commander's assistant. Now, this should be a senior member NCO, preferably the squadron NCO. If you don't possess a senior member NCO, then at least a senior member that presents professional appearance and they can think on their feet. Photographer, designated photographer. Do not hey you this task. The photographer should be in the same uniform as everyone else. Okay, awardees and promotees. Prior to the actual ceremony, please walk through the events. If you can't do it at the actual location because people are occupying that space, then do it in the parking lot behind the building. But make sure the awardees know how to actually report, okay? And give the general group that's going to be presented awards and promotions a general idea how they're to do that. Okay, ceremony will start. So here we have the format that I spoke about earlier. The commander, at the designated time, the start time, should go in the doorway and make visual contact with the commander's assistant. Okay? Whether they give a nod or a thumbs up, I don't care, but they should at least signal to each other before the commander walks into the room. The commander's assistant will call the squadron to attention. Immediately afterwards, the MC will call, ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the commander. Commander will come out. The MC will then say, please remain standing for the posting of the national colors. No reason to have him sit down just to stand up again. At this time, the commander should do an about face so he's facing the direction which the colors will be posted. The colors come out. Now, I'm not going to get into the weeds on this one. It's very simple. CAP 60-33, which is the drill and ceremony manual, pages 110 through 111, or excuse me, 110 to 111, right there. Very simple and straightforward. The colors are presented. Now, in the case in which you do not have a color guard, the colors are already presented there, basically, the MC is going to say, please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem. All right, in either case, the national anthem is going to be played. When the national anthem is played, anybody in U.S. Air Force style uniforms is just going to stand at the position of attention facing the national flag, which is the U.S. flag. Anybody not in a U.S. Air Force style uniform will put their right hand over their heart. All right, afterwards, the MC says, would our visitors please take a seat? And of course, whomever is in charge of the CAP members formation will command parade rest. Then the MC will state, rank, last name, report to the commander. Okay, we'll use the example of Cadet Alpha. So we'll say Cadet Alpha, report to the commander. Cadet Alpha will then stop 2 paces before the commander and extend a hand salute, and will only drop the salute after the commander drops his salute. Now, if you're presenting a group of awards, i.e. everybody's getting the same award, or i.e. everybody's getting the same promotion, then call all those people up at the same time. In this case, we have 3 people. So basically, the MC would say something like, at this time, would Cadet Alpha, Cadet Bravo, and Cadet Charlie report to the commander. The commander gives an about face so that the awardees or promotees are facing the audience. At this time, the MC says, if there are persons that want to pin their cadet or senior member promotee rank on, please come forward and see the commander's representative, who is whomever you've designated. The commander's assistant will then raise his hand, so the individuals that are going to be assisting their awardees or promotees will know who that person is and where they have to show up. In this scenario, we have possibly parents of the awardees or promotees going over to the commander's assistant. The commander's assistant is then going to basically usher all these personnel in an organized fashion over to the promotion. At this point, the MC says, attention to orders, rank name is promoted to the rank of, we'll use Cadet Senior Airman. So if we have more than one, it would be attention to orders, Cadet Airman Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie is promoted to the rank of Senior Airman. At this point, the commander's assistant will usher his or her group over to the promotees or awardees. And here we see them right there. Now, at the same time that the ranks are being pinned onto the uniform, the MC explains the significance of the promotion or awards while the members are receiving the promotions or awards. Remember, for milestone awards, there's a specific fact write-up that you have to actually commit to. Afterwards, everybody returns back to their location. Now, I will say something. With the exception of the Wright brothers, the top 4 awards or milestone awards are presented by specific people that are not the squadron commander. In those cases, those specific people will take the place of the squadron commander when it comes to actually the cadets reporting and such. After we have all these individuals promoted, they've done the about face, the MC will say, I present to you the newly promoted Senior Airman Alpha, okay, Bravo and Charlie. I would recommend at this point the commander's assistant initiate an applause, which obviously will be picked up at the audience. The commander then gives an about face. Remember now, the cadets are facing the audience at this point. In order for them to actually be dismissed, they're going to have to face the commander. The awardees or promotees will do an about face, thus facing the commander. Fall out and fall into your formation is what the commander should say. The individuals will salute. Of course, they'll take one step back first. After they salute and the commander returns their salute, they will then go back to their designated area of formation. Now, the ceremonial conclusion. Please remain standing for the retrieving of the national colors. We have the color guard coming in. They're going to obviously retrieve the colors, and then they'll exit. At this point, the MC will say, this concludes our promotion or awards ceremony. On behalf of the squadron commander, whose name is rank name, thank you all for attending. Now, Now, I neglected to mention that if you do not have a color guard, basically wait for the ceremonial area to be pretty much abandoned, and then have somebody go in and recover your national flag, and which is the United States flag, and the organizational flag, which is the Civil Air Patrol flag. I do have an SOP I wrote on this. I strongly recommend you look at that. It follows this format that I just covered and also provides some more significant details. Thank you for your time. Hopefully, you're successful. Out.